I got up at 3:30 this morning to water the trees because it's freezing. And they're in bud. They're in, they're little teeny apples and pears and peaches. So, in order to have a harvest, putting this water on them, watering them, which of course the water is, where's that thing, relatively warm. Relatively warm. I know you can't see anything. The sun's starting to come up. We're here. The bunny's dish is freezing. I'd like to have a really accurate thermometer, but really, that's pretty accurate. So, because there's water, that water has to be brought down to a level. In fact, this is freezing. It's freezing on the tree. Boy, that really tells the tale, because I was just out here a few more minutes. See that one on the trampoline? I just sprayed that a while back and not again. But I've been spraying. I sprayed this 10 minutes ago, and look at that. The ice has already formed. So that is serious. I better get and spray it again. Spray it some more. See that ice forming? I've seen that before when I watched. They do this on the orange trees. They water the orange trees like this. And that ice forming is not terribly bad. Or at least ways I've seen them. They show that. And that in and of itself isn't bad. I can't necessarily explain 100% why it isn't bad. But I've been not sure about how accurate this weather station is with the temperature, but it says it's 28. And that's probably about right. My little thermostats, the internet says it's -2 centigrade. Says, I don't know where my phone is. There it is. It's going to say, I think, 26. This is 26. This is really the coldest part of the day, even though the sun's coming out. The sun's out, but boy, that is completely frozen. Where's the little peach? There's some little peaches right there. See how it's a little fuzzy thing? There's one there. So what I'm doing now is this kind of an experiment. We're going to see if this worked. I gotta go back to my spraying. And so those are the peaches. Now let's go look at the pears. The pears are bigger. It's funny, this little teeny tree, I think it's got the biggest ones of all. See, look at the size of those. Lots of them too. Now it wouldn't hurt if I lost some of them. But I don't want to lose all of them. There's more than this tree can really support. And this one has got pears. Slightly smaller, but is a completely covered in ice. One thing's for sure is, and this apple tree I don't think has anything. Although it seems like last year it surprised me. Or maybe it was that little pear tree that surprised me. So this apple tree, they're in a earlier stage. At least some of them, but see those have got little apples, I think. I don't know whether this is good or bad, but they're basically all in the same stage. Those have formed. The buds or the fruit has formed to some extent, I think. This would be a late blooming stage, I think. So we'll see. It's kind of an experiment. It could be I had to spray continuously, and it's taking a break of a few minutes. Wasn't good. Ruined it. I don't know. I'm spraying trees again for a second night, but it's odd because this thermometer says 28, which I think is what it said last night. I'm not 100% because I'm not looking at the tape, so to speak. This one only says -1, which is, if I remember correctly, last night it said -2.5, and I know it's correct because that's to say it's not as cold tonight as it was last night, or this morning I should say, because the ice isn't forming on the leaves as much. After I spray for a few minutes, I start to get a little bit chilly. Kind of starts going underneath my coat. Just getting underneath it. I don't really remember getting chilly last night. I was kind of whipped last night, or a little more. I mean, yesterday morning. I got up at 3:30 yesterday morning. This morning I didn't get up till 5 because I went to bed a tiny bit earlier. 10. I was going to check the temperature of this water. That's one reason it's odd, because it is freezing on the leaves, but so it seems like, well, you're making it worse, but this water is 60 degrees. So, of course, then it's got to fly through the air. It's going to lose a little temperature when it does that. But I think part of the concept is the water's warmer than the air. And the other part, I think there's another part, but I'm not sure what it is. Like the coating of ice actually provides insulation or something. I'm not sure about that part. Actually, but it wasn't forming as much ice at 5 a.m., but it's forming ice now. Although I think it may be, I don't know. I was going to say it's more last night. I think it was a tiny bit colder yesterday morning. And I was thinking of something else. I could easily have covered this tree with a tarp, this little tree here. And it would have been interesting to see if it did better. It probably would have been better. I could have covered it with 2 or 3 tarps. But, of course, it has a tendency to sometimes break. But, I probably could have cut off that stem, too. It doesn't look like, well, yeah, there's one up there. But I didn't think of it. The other thing that would be good is to have a control have one tree that I'm not spraying and see if it did better. See, now this leaf doesn't have any ice on it for some reason. I don't know why. Same with that one and that one. Whereas I think yesterday morning, every leaf was completely coated with ice. One thing that makes me think it's not as cold today is, like, see how let me look at this one. This one's got more ice. So yesterday I couldn't spray that ice away, like concentrate in the spray like this. I particularly remember on this little bitty tree. I was going to say I can today. I can spray. See, it's kind of... Well, but it's close, ain't it? But this tree, I think I can spray all the ice away from this tree. Oh, it's really concentrated up there. This tree's got so many little pears on it. I really don't need all these little pears to grow. But I wish I'd have covered this tree now, because I think it would have been better. Especially if I cover it with like a blanket underneath and then a tarp on top. But you know, one thing about covering it that is, there's no heat. You're just, trying to keep the heat that's already in the tree, which ain't much, especially on a little teeny tree like this. So I'm really not that keen on covering it either. The other thing is you have to get it off as soon as the sun hits it, or else you'll cook it. See, now I've sprayed all that ice away from this one. And really, I couldn't do that. I tried to do that yesterday morning, and it didn't work. Look at that peach tree with the sun hitting it now. So I should be able to sleep after this. I think that's the last freeze, but let's see. I'm curious, particularly about this tree, because I could have covered this tree. Now, it looks to me like this one's gone, and this one's gone. That one's black. That one's really gone. So I don't know. Those are red. I don't know for sure. These have some green. There's not many leaves damaged on this one. Here's some smaller ones. There's really tiny ones here. Maybe they'll make it. I'm afraid a lot of these are going to be... This one's got some green on it. I'm afraid a lot of these aren't going to make it. Then I've got this tree here, which there's generally... See, now those are green. Whoops, am I seeing them? At least ways. They still don't look terribly wonderful. This one has more damaged leaves. Here's some smaller ones here. Those look pretty green right there. Those look pretty green. So I just don't know. I'll be really curious to see. See, this one doesn't. That one little tree was so loaded. It's too bad I didn't cover it. If that would have helped. Now this apple tree is in a different stage. Plus, it just seems like it's tougher. There's very few damaged leaves. And it looks to me like this apple tree is going to be all right. Now, let's look at the peach tree. This tree didn't have anything. Let's look at the peach tree. Watch out for the dog poop. And I've got this fenced off from the dog so that they can spray it without the dog getting into it. So there's that little fuzzy one there. That looks okay. There's some fuzzy ones. They look like they're all going to be all right. This one is the one the bugs love more than anything in the world. And yeah, I don't see any damaged leaves. This tree is the happiest tree of all my trees. It looks okay so far. See, these leaves got burned here, or frozen. But those, and see, there's one that fell off. But I think these are okay. I think it's okay. It's funny too, after and this one, of course, I thought it would be better anyway. I don't see one now. I don't know why I thought it would be better. Oh, here's one. See, now there's one that fell off. I don't mind losing some of them because they can never support. Now those look so green. I think those are fine. And it was funny. I found one on this tree. I didn't even think there was a bloom on this tree before, but I think I sprayed it anyway. And then of course the apple tree, I think these will be fine. I think these are all fine. They've still got that fuzz, still kind of fuzzy. That reminds me too, let's look at the peach. These are going to be okay too. I think they're okay. See, this one doesn't even look like any leaves froze on this one. This tree is a happy tree. So bugs, the bugs eat the hell out of this tree. They eat the shoots. I don't see any at this moment.